Good morning. Happy Monday. So, I said the other day, I knew that I had told the story before about Disney, and I'm going to tell you right now that I'll tell it again. So, why? Why would you say something more than once? Well, if you are not into repetition, then you're not into mastery. I said repetition is the mother of skill. What does that mean? People that are into mastery do the lessons again and again and again and again, and especially lessons with regards to personal development. Number one, every time you hear a personal development story, I love this piece. Every time you hear a personal development story, you're in a different place in your life. And so every time you hear it, it's going to mean something a little bit different to you because you've now grown, you've now moved on, you've had new experiences. So each time it means separate things. I've been to the Tony Robbins UPW so many times I can't even count them, but every time I'm there, I get something different. And I re-grind in these lessons. There's a reason that we do incantations day after day after day after day. We're grinding them in so that they become part of you. John Wooden. If you guys don't know him, look him up. He's the winningest basketball coach in the history of the NCAA. He coached the UCLA Bruins. They won 10 national championships in 12 years, including 7 in a row, including winning 88 games in a row. Nobody else has ever even come close. How did he do it? He preached one thing: fundamentals. He would get the best players in the league in the country towards the end of his run, and they would come in and they could do anything. They could shoot from the outside, although you didn't have 3 points back then. They could dunk. They could do all this stuff. And he would say, great, let me see you stand 3 feet from the basket and shoot 100 bank shots in a row without missing. You can do that, and then when you get that done, you can go home. Wooden would make them shoot 100 free throws. They would rotate. Each one would take a free throw, rotate around, and they had to make 100 in a row as a team. Fundamentals. He did the same thing again and again and again and again, and he preached it and he preached it and he preached it. That's how he developed such good teams, because this was back when the team stuck together for 4 years. They didn't go to the pros until after that. So he knew he had 1 or 2 players that were going to go in the pros, but the other ones were not. And in order to raise their level and to raise their standards, he did it through fundamentals. So when you do this stuff, this personal development stuff, remember that repetition is the mother of skill. You want to do it again. You want to do it every day. The big speakers at all of these events say that you have to do 3 things. You have to go to events, and I think it should be about 3 a year. And this should be in your profession too, where you do these immersion events. The best way to learn something in terms of a large amount of information is through immersion. So number 1, go to events. Number 2, listen to stuff daily. And then number 3, have coaching. You got to do those 3 things. You do those 3 things, you're going to continue to grow. You don't do all of those 3 things, it's going to be harder. You can still do it, but it's going to be harder. Do those, and you're going to accelerate your success. So what else can we talk about in terms of being repetitious? Well, set up a time to read. You know, the new year's coming up. It's a great time for people to instill new habits. Football season's winding down to a close. College is winding down to a close. You're not going to be able to do all that much this winter anyway. It's a great time to get into the habit of reading. What about setting up a goal that you're going to read, a half an hour or 4 pages or 10 pages every day? Going to do that every day, and exercise in some form every day, even if it's just doing yoga, even if it's just doing some sit-ups and some push-ups. And while you're doing all that, listen to this stuff. While you're exercising, listening to this stuff. While you're break up your morning routine and have it so you're listening to Tony Robbins or Grant Cardone or Zig Ziglar or Les Brown or whomever, that you're dumping this stuff into your head. Because when you're doing all of those things, that's when it starts to become part of you. When I talk about this stuff, a lot of people have asked me, where do you come up with all this content? A lot of times I wake up in the morning, I got up 10 minutes ago. A lot of times I wake up in the morning and I don't really know what I'm going to talk about. Sometimes the night before I think about what I'm going to talk about. And then I start talking and it comes out something different. Where does it all come from? Well, because I've spent literally years listening to this stuff every day. My morning walk, my morning workout, I listen to this stuff and just dumping it in. And now there's so much there that I can just keep coming up with stuff to talk about. Now, a lot of it is the same stuff, but it comes to you in different ways. We use different metaphors, and you're going to be in a different place. And what happens is you get what you need. So you'll be at a certain place in your life, and then all of a sudden you'll hear a story again, but it's going to resonate with you in a different way. Because now you're in a different place and you needed that particular piece of information. You're going to go, oh, that's what that was all about. Now I get it. That makes sense to me. And then it'll happen again, and it'll happen again, and it'll happen again. So it's Monday. It's Christmas week. It's Christmas on Friday. Holy cow. How did that happen? And it was still over 35 degrees here yesterday. That's amazing. So think about setting up some new habits for yourself, some new morning rituals. Let's add to what we did before. Let's work together on this. Let's make 2000. You know that you're going to be back doing stuff by the end of 2021. We know that we're going to. The vaccine is out. We know that we're going to be out. We're going to be doing things. The world is going to open up. Last time we had a pandemic, when the world opened up, everybody went out and had a great time for 10 years. That's what happened in the 1920s. That's why it was called the Roaring Twenties, because everybody said, I am tired of being at home, and they all traveled, and they all went and did stuff, and they all had a great time. It was an extraordinarily wonderful period. So that could well be what we're headed for. So plan now. Do the work now. So when that happens, you're ready to go. As my brother says, I tell you every Monday, let's get after it. Have a great Monday, everybody. Thanks for watching. We're all in there together. Let's take care of each other.